I'm ready for it.
Okay,
Let's see what we create.
I love it. Let's hop in. It's so good to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out for the program today.
Yeah, and it's fun fact, it's spelled Caroline, but it is Carolyn. So if you remember that, that's awesome. If you still call me the other one, I'll answer it. But
I
yeah.
got it now. I totally got it. I'm glad you pointed that out because there's nothing
Because how are
worse
you
than
supposed to know?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like my engineer and good friend of my show says you can go weeks and months and years and no one will say anything about your show, but the one time that you mispronounce something, all of a sudden everybody's going to say something. You're like, "Well, why weren't you saying something about good content?"
Right, right, right. Yeah,
99% of what I did was fine, and then we have this
exactly.
one needle in the haystack. So
Yeah,
so we're good
yeah.
to go.
Well, I
Well,
hope that didn't just ruin our viewers.
no, 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 no. It's great.
Just
Everybody's going to
joking.
know now. Everybody's going to know.
Just joking.
So
Yeah.
let's do this. Let's begin our conversation with this question. I've tried to get rid of it, but it's too big. 5 years ago, this pandemic was raging, changing everything in our worlds. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you do things today?
Oh, that is such a good question. And I'd like to dial it back to about 4 months before all that went down, because for me, that was especially pivotal building into that moment. So in late December of 2019, I find myself on an operating table while a team of surgeons is fishing up equipment through one of my, a vein or artery, I'm not quite sure which one, in my leg up to my heart.
Wow.
And they tried to burn off a place in one of my heart valves that was triggering an irregular heart rate. So I would just be sitting and my heart would go to 210. And it was insane. It sounded like I was Lamaze breathing, but there was no baby. And it was also terrifying. So that was a huge turning point for me to start being like, what the heck is going on? And then after that surgery, I remember very clearly my surgeon said to me, Carolyn, it's like you're in the middle of a huge, grassy, really dry field and you're holding the match. You have got to make some changes or this whole thing is burning down. So that started off this like, what am I doing? Like, what is it? I'd kind of gotten up to a point where I hadn't realized, but I had class two obesity, three high blood pressure medicines, and then I had this heart rate thing. So now comes the pandemic, and I was trying to work from home, and then everybody else was at home, and I'm still chasing this. I believe there's performance, relationships, and well-being, and so I was still chasing performance, and getting awards and earning high income and serving my clients. And at the same moment, everybody else was here and I was yelling at them. Shh, mommy's on a call. And I was not showing up, even with this gift and opportunity of everything else kind of being shut down and like not having to take kids to 4 or 5 different extracurricular activities in the week and all of that. So, in one moment, it's like there's this beautiful gift. On other moment, I have these health challenges that I'm trying to overcome. And yet, it became very apparent that I wasn't living true to my values.
Yeah.
I wasn't. And so I got through it, but awkwardly, but also pretty eye-opening way of realizing that the world isn't going to always be the world that I thought. People that I love and care about aren't always going to be there. And the ones that I do say matter most to me, it was just this realization that I was not showing up how I truly said I wanted to be or how I thought I wanted to be. So that it was kind of clunky. We were all high risk. Um, I'm also, was pretty fear driven, risk averse. And so we were literally all home for over a year and a half
Wow.
before, we kind of went, schools closed down here. Everything was just kind of to a halt and also to this huge like spotlight shining on like you're not living how you think you are. So
Yeah.
that was my time.
I'm fascinated by these storylines of all of these epiphanies happening before the pandemic, because in your scenario, once the pandemic happened, it just deepened it. Did it make it a little bit easier for you to be able to look under the microscope? I mean, I don't know if easier is the word, but a more I don't know, a more wise way of looking at what you needed to do with your life.
I it definitely kind of shone the spotlight on it. And I am I don't want to say I am, but I want to say I was living in a way where I was very stubborn, very like I think I know what's up, and like trying to just try to like buckle down and work harder, thinking that would solve my issues, and it wasn't. I didn't need to do more, I needed to do less. So for me, I had been thinking about possibly leaving what I was doing for years, but it wasn't until the end of 2022, 2023 that I actually did it. And what happened there was 2022, my husband and I had our 20th wedding anniversary. And on one hand, I'm so glad that I have this beautiful husband. We have overcome things that many people would think you would never be. And one of them being I'm Catholic and he's Hindu, okay? I was born here, he was born in India. And here we are 20 something years later. He's phenomenal. He's just amazing, best friend, great guy, huge supporter. And he says to me at our 20th wedding anniversary dinner, I'm terrified that we're not going to have another anniversary. And I'm thinking like, oh shoot, did I finally? Because there's not a lot of people that would have put up with me in those 20 years, and he did. And I was thinking like, oh man, did I do too much? Did I yell too much? Was I too mean? Like what? Like what? And he said, I am terrified we're not going to have another anniversary because you are literally killing yourself.
Yeah.
And I know who you are, but I'm concerned the kids don't know who you are. I don't think you're happy. I don't care what you do. Figure out what you want to do, and I'll support you 100%. And I said, but we got a kid getting ready to go to college. How does that make any sense? Like, I can't, we have to, like, don't we need this money? And he said, what good is the money if you're not here?
Yeah.
What good is any of that? We need you, not money. But money would be nice.
Yeah.
So figure,
Sure.
So for me, the spotlight was there. And my beautiful, amazing, yet conflict avoidant husband said something to me that he got through. He was able to get through to me in ways that others didn't, right? Because
Yeah.
even though my doctor said that, I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, well, I'm doing all right now, right? Like, and I had lost a little bit of weight and I thought I was doing well, but I just hadn't. I kind of lived for several decades as a head attached to my body,
Yeah.
but I hadn't fully integrated or appreciated that mental health is health and understanding and emotions and all of that. Like these are gifts for us and they're signals of things that we could work on, but not like I was just trying to like stuff all these other challenges down and just keep pushing harder, 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 harder. And that wasn't actually serving me. My performance was good. My relationships and my own well being were still kind of a hit. So I wish I could say that I got the message and it was loud and clear. And in 2020, everything started to become beautiful. And it didn't because I was also kind of like, if I leave what I'm doing, then what?
Yeah.
If I leave, there was way back in the day, I had a bachelor's degree in chemistry, a PhD in polymer science, so like rubber and plastics. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. And I studied like how cracks would start and grow in materials. Okay, not because I was trying to break them, although I got to break a lot of things, that was fun, but because I was trying to make them stronger. And I thought when I was questioning my career and questioning what I was doing, I had entered a phase where I was recruiting for the chemical industry globally, trying to help people in positions. And I thought, okay, well, I'm actually helping people now, so this should be good. And yet it wasn't because I kept seeing people outwardly successful, internally unfulfilled. And I was one of them too.
Yeah.
And I had this thought though that like if I leave all that, was it a waste of time or was it not special or was I not special and am I a sellout or and I had to come to realize like now it's decades later and I study that crack starting and growing in people to make them stronger. so that it still does connect. It wasn't a waste. Like the way I view the world, the way the scientific method, the trying to, get up and try again, and now let's do an experiment and let's see it again and again and again and again. That didn't go away. And I've always cared about people more than I cared about materials, although it's nice to have materials. And other people I think are more well suited to do those things and super jazzed by, you know, running the experiment, doing the lab work. And I kind of thought it was like, okay. And, but I also felt like, well, I picked that. I must conform. I need to try to be that person because that's what I chose. And now I'm stuck with it. And we're not stuck. Like
Right.
every day we wake up, that's a day to like begin again, right? Henry
Yeah.
Ford, like, failure is an opportunity to begin again more intelligently. And I'm not saying that people are failures. I'm saying
Sure.
that we get to learn, we get
I
to
get
try
it.
again, we get to do something else. And if you're not like being lit up, fully you, living joyfully, then maybe there's something else you could do so that
Yeah.
you have that experience. And then the world gets it, your family gets it, like everybody's better with that thing.
So let's get into the version 2.0. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids. They're 12 years old. It's career day. You're in a school and you need to explain what you do for a living right now. How do you do that?
Great question. I think I'd ask him a question, you know, how many of you think your parents absolutely love their life and the work that they do? Raise your hand. If when they come home, they're excited, they're energized, they're happy, they're ready to play, they're ready to be with you and do whatever you need, and they are ready to go and looking forward to it. Anybody? Anybody here? Now, Gallup tells us 80% of people in America are dissatisfied with their jobs. So my guess is not many, if any, hands are going to come up.
Yeah.
And then I'd say the work that I do is to try to help people design lives that they love and make it so that the career fuels the life that they want. Fully understanding who they are, what they do best, how they communicate, managing the voices in their head, the ones that are like, you can't do that, but helping that to be more of, wow, what's possible? And helping them have that vision of what they want their life to look like, how they want their career to be able to fuel that so that they come home ready to go and to love the people that matter most. That is the work that I do.
So what did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream job?
I think at 12, my dad was a teacher, principal, superintendent. I spent a lot of hours in school and an academic environment, and I kind of loved that. So I think at 12, I thought I wanted to be something in a school system like a teacher.
Gotcha.
As I got older, my dad said, girl, I don't think teaching is going to support the lifestyle you want to be accustomed to. And you don't have to be an educator to educate. You could do something else. Do science. You're good at science. You're good at math. And you could always get into some sort of career where you're ending up helping people, explaining things like that. But it doesn't have to be a traditional teacher route. But I did have that, that like heart tug of like, well, I think this would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm just not in a traditional classroom, although I'll go visit,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. No, I get it. So who's been your hero? Who's been your inspirational force that's navigated you through your career?
I I mean, honestly, I don't know that it's a like there's been many people that show up at the right times, almost like flag people. Um, but I know this could sound cheesy to some, but I think I would have to say it's God or my guardian angel or something because I keep when something gets really dire and you kind of have those like scream at the ceiling moments or just like cry or whatever and you're just like I can't do this anymore. Send me something. I got to have something. And then a flag person appears to kind of help me on the next part of my journey. So I wish I could say it was like this teacher or that thing,
Yeah.
but there's just been many of people that show up at the right time. And I think it's God helping put those people there. And also then that like responsibility of like, oh, and now I'm put in places to be that person for some others. And so therefore, let's all, do great work together, do our best.
So on a larger scale, if you could meet one person on the planet right now that's done well in business, that's been kind of holistically satisfied as a professional, that's exuded all these qualities that you've gone for in your life of taking care of yourself, but taking care of business, having some level of balance that's done it well. You could have a lunch and hang out with them and ask questions, and it might help you on your journey into the future. Who would you love to meet and talk to?
A living person right now, I would pick Jamie Kern Lima.
Okay.
Do you know Jamie Kern Lima?
I the
She
name's familiar.
Okay, so back in the day, she had been like was a waitress at Denny's, and then she started doing kitchen chemistry because she had rosacea, a skin condition, and there wasn't makeup that worked for her. And
Yes.
then she ended up building makeup stuff, and she kept getting rejected by all the major players. She ended up becoming part of QVC Network and sold her stuff, and then it became got sold to like It Cosmetics, and then she sold that, and then now she had written a book, I think in 2024. I'm trying to see if I have it. It's like a super sparkly. Oh, yeah. She wrote this really sparkly cover book called
Yeah.
Worthy and how to believe you are enough and to transform your life. And so this is Jamie right here.
Oh
Not a great
yeah, I
picture.
know totally. Yeah, I know who that
She
is.
okay. Because and even like she's probably my size. She's probably smaller though. But and showing up to the beauty industry in like let's say the 90s or early 2000s and not being somebody who was a size zero,
Yeah.
people were rejecting her and she kept going. And so and she's now has this thing of like, rejection is God's protection. And just this book was such a beautiful life-changing resource for me and seeing her. And there's a wonderful poem in there, um, that you're not crazy, you're just first. Like the first one to do this thing, the first one to do that. And so like just kind of this holistically like embracing like, yeah, you were made on purpose for a purpose only you can do. Your worthiness was never in question. Like the same, God, and I don't know that she had, but the same creator of the universe that made every single thing also chose to make you. You were needed in this thing. So, like, why are we questioning this? Why are we allowing the world to, why are we allowing ourselves to take on some of these negative influences of the world when, like, our worth was never a question? Like, we are worthy, we're ready, and let's go and do great things. So, like, I would just be fascinated
Yeah. Yeah.
to have a conversation with her because she went through that chasing success and she went through that like, building a successful business and then selling it. And now she's doing good for the world. And even the proceeds, of course, from her book and all of that go towards doing great things. She also has a pretty nice podcast and she's just putting out such beauty in the world. So like I'd love to sit with her if I
Yeah.
could.
I remember in my early 20s, I was in corporate America kind of reluctantly. I had long hair and was just kind of in a whole different place. It was a
Yeah.
Gen Xer, wanted to travel, didn't want to
Get
get
it.
wrapped up in that 50s lifestyle, reading Kerouac, doing all that. And I remember I got into a large scale architectural engineering firm called
Mm,
HNTB, and I was doing marketing for them. And at one point, I can't remember who pulled me aside, and we were all there was a big, like, mall kind of food court, and someone pulled me aside, and everybody in my department was there, and they were like, all of these people around you are taking ulcer medication. They're not even in their 30s yet. Their hearts are just totally racing. They work all the time. They're doing all this. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, that's gross. That's terrible. Like,
yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
way that I want to live that life. And I remember that was a real bell ringer for me. Like, I'm going to do a good job, but I'm leaving. When I'm out, when
Yep.
my shift's done, I'm gone. I'm going to put everything out here, but I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to let this pursuit of a paycheck become a health detriment to me. And I remember that very early on. And I think about what you went through. And I think there's a lot of people that do that. They will put their bodies in peril because
Yeah.
they have these things that they need and they have to attain, but they
Yeah.
don't have that fulfillment inside. It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
And now I've come to realize after like pouring myself into this, because I left like shortly after. It still took a while because I was 100% commission only in the job that I was doing. And hell, if I worked for free, right? So I had to write out the stuff and was designing and building my own things. And then I tried to like treat this problem of how is it people are externally successful, internally unfulfilled. And because I had that PhD, I knew how to tackle a problem that hadn't been solved before, research, search and research and research and, make a hypothesis and try to come up with all the things. And I came to realize questioning your career is absolutely normal and it happens at predictable stages.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is like 15 to 18, and then it's 22 to 26. And then here was the thing I didn't know. Every 7 to 10 years after that, as we're developing as humans, we're naturally going through one of those questioning periods. And so it sounds like this meeting that you're at and this realization, like you went through one of those periods and you were brave enough to listen and course correct. Whereas I had gone through some of those periods and I buckled down even further because I'm not a quitter, I'm a winner, right? And so I just kept pushing and pushing. And I think that's what a lot of people do is some of these external forces. And now I come to realize that it's not just your salary, your title, your location. It's actually where are you in your career development stage? What are your natural abilities, the things that you were inherently hardwired to do, your skills, the things that you've spent time, effort, and energy to learn, your interests, your personal style. Are you introvert, extrovert, generalist, specialist? How do you communicate? What family you came from, what family you have now, your goals, your values. It's all of these. And those things change over time, right? The only thing
Yeah.
that's not changing, unless you have some traumatic brain injury or dementia, is your natural abilities, that hardwiring. Everything else evolves. And as you come and first in somebody's career development stage, you kind of like get out and you're like, you're just happy someone's paying you. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'll do that. I can do anything. And then you realize more and more like, no, I don't really think nah, no thanks. I don't need to do that. Or for yourself looking around and realizing like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is the trajectory. If I stay here, I'm going to be on ulcer medicine and this and that. And that what that is your work has mission, vision, values. Most people haven't figured that out yet,
Yeah.
especially going into their early 20s and all that. They haven't gone through the exercise of sorting out, no, really, what do I want? Who am I? And so you become, without that exercise, you just force yourself to become up under that mold. And then over time, that's what's causing tension, is because you're not actually aligned. Now, there's plenty of times people can work with me and they kind of just like shift their thinking a little bit and they realize, okay, I'm still working with a bunch of idiots and jerks, and I don't really like this environment. And because I have a kid that's going to go to college, or because I want this insurance, I'm gonna just shift and I'm gonna, no longer work 20 hours a day. I'm gonna start pulling that back a little bit more. But I really like this insurance and I like this benefit. So now I'm going to now start searching and designing what do I want so that when it becomes available, I'm ready. And then it's like they're realizing, oh, this actually isn't me. This is actually the problem. And here's how I can change it. And now let me try to tackle it slowly versus just a rash rush decision.
So at this point in your life, of everything that you've done, accomplished, and more importantly, evolved to, what are you the proudest of?
I am the honestly, I'm the it's it, I'm not gonna pick a title, I'm not picking a salary, I'm not picking awards, although I had plenty of them. I'm gonna pick that in my 20s, I met this amazing human who I was able to communicate with on a level that I hadn't been comfortable to do with any others. And that man has been my husband for now 20, I don't know, maybe 23 years almost. Just a couple weeks from now, we'll have our 23rd anniversary. I'm proud that I've grown and evolved with him and that together we make a whole human and we're still going at it for another hopefully 20 50 more years.
Absolutely.
um so and we have an amazing, you know, we don't do anything right because we have teenagers,
Right.
but
Of course.
like we have these beautiful people and we're both constantly getting up and trying to be the best versions of ourselves. So and falling and then getting up again or
Of
helping each
course.
other get up. So I honestly I would pick that.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you: family, friends, clients, everyone you work with, everyone you know, but you run the show. What is your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I am someone who goes all in, uh, is fiercely competitive, loves fiercely, loyal, and also realizes that I'm just going to get up and try the best with what I have and then go search and seek and find something else and adjust and try again. So just this kind of let's get up and explore the day and see how things are. And I want others to be able to do the same. I live my life now with joy, with intention. I say no to things. As somebody who comes to the door of my office, I'm working on being embracing that opportunity because there's going to be a few years from now they won't be here. You know, they'll still be somewhere else, hopefully. But just trying to be available and meet somebody where they are and just have a really good interaction because that's what life is about.
So with that adventurous spirit, if you could get into a time machine when we get off this call and go back in time and see one event in human history, where are you going?
Oh,
What do you want to witness happen? It won't create a tear in time. You just get to see it unfold.
okay. There was this saint that not a lot is known about her. Her name is Saint Philomena. She was like 14 years old, and there she had this. She refused to marry this like rich emperor because she had consecrated her life to Jesus, whatever. But like several things went down, and they tried to like end her life, and it didn't work, and then it finally did. But like I kind of want to see like no really what
Yeah,
happened and how did that and how was her life because she became known later by some miracles that were attributed to her intercession and like stories were told to a few different people that didn't know each other at all, no way for them to have connected, and they go and tell authorities the same story and it becomes like whoa, like if how is it that these three people are all telling the same story about this young lady's life, but like I kind of want to see a little bit of that too.
that's a
Like, how
great
did that
answer.
really go down?
Yeah, that's great. I love that. So, if anyone out there wants to get involved with Next Success, any of the good work you're doing, ask questions, hire you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can find me at nextsuccesscareers.com. I also have a podcast that's called Your Next Success. You can find that at any of the podcast places. I have a YouTube channel. It's at Next Success Method. And of course, you could look me up on LinkedIn, Carolyn Sangal, so or at Next Success Method on all the socials. That would be the way. And I would
Okay.
love to help somebody wherever they are, help them design a life that they love and
Yes.
a career that fuels it.
Excellent. Carolyn, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your passion. What a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the work that you do and the beautiful things that you put out into the world. Thank you for all
Absolutely.
these stories.
It's a joy. Absolutely. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you, you as well. I'm excited to see the great things that you keep putting out there. Appreciate you, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.